Well, hello again.
Wait. All right.
My hair's gross.
No, it's not.
It's fine.
It looks fabulous. You look fabulous.
Oh, thanks.
You do. Are you hot?
Yes.
It's warm, huh?
Well, I think we're going to get out of here just in time
I think so.
because it doesn't seem like air conditioning is a thing around here.
No, it's definitely not. Okay, but anyways, guys, welcome back to episode 10
Oh,
of...
I know, huh?
All right, let's get into it. We got a lot of topics to cover today, among them a mattress or... Do you like how I chose the weakest thing to lead in
You
with?
are the weakest link.
A cama. Chelsea went mattress shopping and
Yeah, my husband turned 40, and it was funny because that's what he wanted for his birthday. He really wanted to get a new mattress.
hell yeah, it's an
The guy
investment.
at his work, I guess he went around asking people about their mattresses at work.
I love
I was
that.
like, oh my God, how cringe. But, and so one of the, he's like, there's younger people that work there, I guess. And so like, they were like, that's how you know you're getting old. When you want a mattress for your birthday.
It's a good investment.
I mean, you spend a lot of time on a mattress, and like your quality of sleep affects your whole day.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Okay, wait, so tell us what mattress did you guys buy?
we ended up getting a Sealy mattress.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know exactly. It was like a
The Nimbus 3000?
yes. But it was funny because Sev wanted to go try the purple mattresses and the purple pillows.
Yeah.
So he's been dealing with chronic headaches, which is what prompted all of this stuff.
For a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he wanted to try them. And so we went in, and I was like, my sister got a purple mattress and she returned it. She said she didn't like it.
Because it was what? Like too hard?
I don't remember why.
Okay.
But I think it like they were having back problems from it. So they didn't want
Yeah, they
it.
were like,
yeah, they were
no.
like, this isn't worth the money.
Yeah.
So we went to the mattress place, and they like did like little tests to see which firmness you need and all the things. And we tried a bunch of mattresses, including the purple. But have you tried them?
No.
They're weird.
In what sense?
They feel like Sebastian called it the Jello mattress.
Okay.
He was like, it feels like you're in a cup of Jello or something.
Weird.
Because it's like got these mesh woven things. It's like
Like fibers?
it's latex, I think. It's like rubbery. It feels like what it is. It's
Weird.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like I guess they made them for burn victims, so they're supposed to be like super gentle
Right.
on your body
Like
and
non-abrasive.
skin. Yeah. But I don't know, it was weird.
And you guys didn't like it?
No. It wasn't. I think it would.
How much are they? Like, what do
They're
they
very
retail
expensive.
for?
They're very expensive.
Like, what's the starting?
like 4,000 a nut.
Really?
Yeah. They go from 4, I think, like to around 8.
$8,000?
Yeah, beds are expensive.
I know they're expensive, but like $8,000?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister spent either 4 or 6. I'm not sure. Somewhere around there. Yeah. That's why she was like, no, my back fucking hurts. I'm returning this shit.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're so trendy right now. It's like everybody wants one.
They are.
And I think like maybe if you got used to it, it would be nice. I think you either love it or you don't. But I don't know. For me, it was weird.
Is it supposed to be for like all types of sleepers? Like side sleepers, back sleepers?
It's supposed to be, the guy said it's like supposed to be kind of more equivalent to like a waterbed where it molds to your body kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's also like temperature control kind of thing. Like it stays room temp, yada yada.
Okay.
So I was like, but I don't know. It's a little weird. Even the pillows are like weird. I don't know how to.
I gotta
explain
test it now.
Yeah, now
I
you-
want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. And so, because we've had a Tempur-Pedic and do not recommend.
Why not?
They're so hard.
I think it depends.
I think for me, it's so, like, we tried the softest one there, even just to see if maybe it's just our bed that we picked before. But no, those things are hard. I just think maybe I don't weigh enough.
That's what I think too.
Yeah. I don't think I'm heavy enough to get it to mold.
To where you're like really testing the mattress.
Because I'm just it's like laying on cement.
We're like,
that shit is so hard.
We're like little peso plumas.
Yeah.
Like little featherweights.
Oh, no, it was funny because the kids went with us and they were like trying to get on beds and stuff. And the guy that was showing us everything, he's like, they're so light. They're not going to feel a difference in any bed. I was like, I know. And I'm all same.
Right. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're liking the new bed so far?
Yes, I like it. It was like super comfortable. And the one we got was on the affordable side, which was nice. We weren't even like going for that. We were just trying to pick whatever was the most comfortable.
Right.
And so it kind of worked out. Because Sev, like, he was like, I have every intention of spending like $5,000, and we didn't even spend a fraction of that. So that was nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
does it come with insurance?
So
or like
you
with
get
a warranty?
like a warranty. You have like 3 months, I think, to decide if it like is working for you. Otherwise, you can exchange it.
Okay.
And then you have like a 10-year warranty on the bed.
Okay.
Which I was like, dang, that's what's up.
I think that's pretty standard, isn't it?
I guess. I don't know. We've always bought like our beds like online and stuff. And so this was like, we were like, enough bullshitting.
Right.
we need to get a real deal mattress.
You're like, this is it.
Yeah. Well, because we would get them and we would be like, oh, well, it's not easy to return a big ass mattress. You know what I mean? And so we would just deal with it.
We had tried the Casper.
Okay.
And it was okay. Like,
nothing.
But we got rid of it. We literally got rid of it in less than 5 years. I think we had it for 4 years.
Okay.
And then it just like wasn't doing anything. No. Like it wasn't like withstanding the test of time, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing about like the warranties. They said like if it starts kind of like caving in certain areas and stuff, they'll replace it and stuff like that. So I was like,
okay.
It was so funny because the guy said majority of people's bodies change every 5 to 8 years. And me and Sev, we just kind of started laughing. We're all not us.
It's been the same.
I mean, I've gone up maybe one size in the last 15 years, not 5 to 8.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like, I'm not trying to be mean, but it just made me laugh.
No, that's interesting. Anyways.
Yeah, so that was how I spent my weekend.
I love it.
Yeah. We also spent it watching The Last of Us.
Did you binge it?
Well, no, we've been
caught
up.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I look forward to Sundays because I really do enjoy it. I've talked about Speed on here before. I show Speed. He was streaming himself playing both the games. And it was cool because Seb's only played the first game, not the second one. And so it was cool to see how spot on the show is to the game. And then we had to like stop watching him because we were like, oh, spoilers.
Shit.
Yeah, but we did watch some of it, and there was like this whole scene that they just had in the latest episode, and I was like, oh, they didn't have that in the show. I didn't think they were going to include it. And then they included it this last episode 6, and oh my god, I cried an entire hour. Cassie.
So okay, listen, I saw all of season 1, and I was looking forward to season 2, and then the reviews were kind of mixed, and then because I live online,
you already know what happened.
Kind of
to Jill.
Yeah, and so I was like, fuck, like
it was so funny.
Like I had a feeling, but I was like, but. Like Pedro Pascal.
I know. He's still in it, though. They do flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like this last episode. So he hasn't really been, like, so episode 2.
What?
Joel.
He dies.
Joel gets unalived. Spoiler alert.
No.
It was so funny because when Speed was playing the game, he kept calling him Joel.
Oh, not Joel.
I was laughing so hard. But so Joel gets unalived, and it's very depressing, heartbreaking, traumatizing. All of us as watchers were like, but people who play the game knew it was coming already.
Right.
So it's funny because everybody's so mad at like HBO for certain things. Because even I seen a lot of TikToks where people are like, oh, I'm over this show because it's too woke and all this stuff because she
I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm like,
because she's gonna be a dad.
yes. Yes, people are so upset that they have a relationship and she's like ready to step in the pregnancy and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like an uproar with the world, I guess.
And
which
did you
is
think
so silly? But it's in the game. All of it is in the game.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's not HBO doing all of this stuff. And
like
it's
they're not
just
pushing an agenda.
No, not
it's literally how the game is.
How the game has always been written.
Yeah.
But so this last episode, since Joel died, they keep like, now there's a new villain and it's a whole thing. But this last episode, they flash back to Joel and Ellie's relationship and him like doing special. They show her birthdays. Like I think they showed three.
Like a compilation.
3 of her birthdays and how he like went above and beyond for her and how he really did like treat her like his daughter and he loved her and why he did the things that he did and I literally cried the entire episode.
Did you?
For a full hour. I was bawling.
No.
Seth was like laughing at me, and then at the end he would just like bust out laughing to stop himself from crying because he was like, "Oh my god, this episode is so bad."
Oh no.
Yeah, it's really really good.
Yeah, it was
if you
trending.
need a good cry, I totally recommend.
No, I hate those kind of shows.
Oh, it was so, and it's like. It was shot beautifully, like cinematic
Everything.
art.
The lighting.
It was so good. It was so good. Yes.
I know. I saw it trending and people were like, that episode is literally the best one of the season, if not of the show.
Oh, for 100%.
And a lot of people were saying.
I almost told Sev, I almost feel like as a standalone episode, like it could have, but I was like, but you do need the backstory to understand
for sure,
like, for the feels, but it was amazing.
Okay,
amazing.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah, please watch it.
Excuse me.
We're gonna have a break soon, so I encourage you to watch it.
I will
during your break.
I'll add it to my list. Yeah,
because it's pretty good.
Okay.
Well, in other news, bringing it back to Miss Hailey Bieber and
tell us.
Her Vogue, What's in My Bag video
just came out.
Just came out yesterday. And so I am a Hailey Bieber fan. Cassie is Team Selena.
I am Team Selena, like to a certain degree, you guys. And we're not going to talk about that today. That's not the gist of it.
But I bring in like my lip liners and stuff, and Cassie's like...
But, you know, after the shit that Justin Bieber's been pulling, I do want to say that if nothing else...
You don't think that they're just, like, living a troll life constantly?
No.
You really think he just is mean to her?
Yes. I think he hates his wife.
I don't think so.
I do. I really... And I have, like, a whole... Listen, that's, like, a whole nother episode because it would be.
That's the Team Selena in you.
The way that Justin... treats Hailey and the things he's said and done to her. It makes me
funny
feel
is with this Vogue shoot, and you know how he did his caption? Did you see it?
Yes.
So he wrote a caption saying that they got in an argument and he told her she'll never be on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah.
That gave me like Drake vibes.
Because
you know how Hailey used to date Drake. And that's why I think all of that is a little weird too, like how they're all friends and I don't know.
It's too incestuous.
It's very...
Yeah, it is.
But you know how he has that song that says like, don't just tell me you're a model unless you've been on Vogue or something like that.
Yes.
And so I was
on the covers of Vogue or something.
Yeah. It gave me like a snub like that. You know what I mean? And I wonder if like Justin listens to some of Drake's music and he probably knows when he is talking about
Oh my
Hailey.
gosh, this is why I like talking about these things, because your like mind and your interpretation are like so different from what yeah.
No, it's everybody has different perspectives.
Yeah,
and it's interesting to hear.
No, yeah, I like that. My perspective lately is really just that he does not like
I don't think
Hailey.
that's true.
No, I don't.
I think he loves her. He's all over her all the time.
No. No. I've seen the other compilations.
Do you think he was happy about Benny Blanco?
No, this is the thing. Like, even though I really don't care for Hailey, but I'm honestly to the point of like, pobrecita Hailey, because of how he is towards her.
Well, and I also feel bad for her because she doesn't get any recognition on her own. It's always
right.
Oh, Justin's wife, like
yeah. So I think to me what it is like the narrative has and continues to be, you know, Selena versus Hailey, and like your team Selena or your team Hailey, and like they're both fucking weird bitches.
Absolutely,
like,
100%.
They've both done weird shit. But then
No,
what really
I
gets,
think as people they're weird, but I think Hailey's beautiful. I like her style. I really like her products. I do use them. I use Selena's bronzer. I don't like her blush at all. Hailey's is the superior blush.
Okay, well there you go.
Use
Blush
it
fans.
every day.
Blush fans.
Using it right now.
Good to know. If we could zoom in, we would. But we're amateurs.
Yeah. The way we're set up.
I know.
But yeah, so that's why I liked her What's in My Bag, because it was a total troll moment and I was living for it. She pulled out, she was like, this is my favorite perfume. And it was like Eau de Nepo perfume.
Mm-hmm.
And
no,
she
the
was
little
like,
brown jar.
She's like, it does all the work for you because she's a Nepo baby.
Right.
And then she pulled out these books that were like, they're like not psychology, they're philosophy books. And they're like, she obviously is not reading those.
No.
And
the little brujeria tincture.
Yeah, I was at the end. Hold on, we're getting there.
Okay.
Then she pulled out her journal and she was like, all my thoughts and ideas are in here and it's completely empty. Just because like she's like, she does so much on her own. Like even the phone case, she owns the patent for it now. So now Justin's like he's like asking her for permission because he's trying to make his own phone case for like to hold joints. And so that's been a whole thing too, which is kind of silly. And then she pulled out like 100 million Rhode lip glosses, which was kind of funny. And then she pulled
all the phones.
Then she pulled out the phones. She pulled out like 5 phones. And she was like, these are just the phones that I use, you know, for stalking and commenting and making fake accounts, and which was feeding into all the Selena drama.
Yeah, right.
And then she pulled out a mask and she's like, everybody always wants to know my skincare regimen, even though I tell you guys all the time everything that I use. She's like, but this is the one thing I'm gatekeeping. And she pulls out this sheet mask and she's like, I got it on the Bermuda Triangle and I don't even know what. She like went on and on and on. Like it's so exclusive and magical. And then she pulled out one of her smoothies. And then it was the tincture.
Yes.
And she was like, my dad got me this tincture when I was 12.
Yeah.
From a witch. And it was to help me bag
a
Canadian pop star.
There's some truth in that, I feel. There is. I think it's one of those, like, which of these is a lie? And I think the tincture is kind of true.
No.
Yeah.
But, although she does have a type, I guess, because Drake and Justin are both Canadian pop stars, I guess.
I really think Justin like married her for the wrong reasons. I do. I think in his head, I just think he's such a pawn and he's so used to people like just using him. And so I think when he had his religious moment and he was being led, like he had a spiritual leader, counselor, I forget his name. And I think he wanted that, but I think he wanted the idea of, I want to be a husband and I want to be married, and that, you know, and now I believe, you know, in God and I'm walking this path. And
I think he loves Hailey.
I hope he does.
And I think they got married out of
really
love.
hope he does.
I think, sure, religion might have played a role in it. Just like I think that's why Yi married Bianca. But I also think, I don't think he would stick around if he didn't need to stick around. I don't think he like wanted to be a husband necessarily. I don't think he was even ready for it. He's so young.
Yeah.
And he's forever, like, he's been in spotlight forever. He's grown up in it, and it's totally affected him, and you can see it all the time.
Yeah.
So I think he's lucky to have her to walk through all of his trauma, because she's fucking ride or die for him since she was 12.
Clearly, yeah. But
yeah,
I think, yeah, he's lucky that she puts up with him. And I think he was, you know, kind of handled. Like, I think they, you know how they say some of them have handlers.
No, I don't doubt it, that especially now, which is something that most of this episode is going to be about, is the diddler. And I think Justin, poor guy, he's like very young, exposed to a whole lot, lived in a crazy world, and Hollywood's wild, and more is coming out about Hollywood and how they operate. And it's funny because you hear about it as like conspiracies.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh no, this is really, this is real deal.
Yeah.
And so it's scary.
I don't know. If she divorces him, I think she'll be okay.
Oh, I think she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know she'll be fine.
But I'm just like, girl, he's suppressing your aura. Like, just.
But she loves him.
I know. She does. No, she does.
Love is love, Cassie.
I know. But I'm like, there's a lot of suffering,
Well,
I'm sure, involved in that.
But
for her.
That's kind of relationships and what you're choosing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, not
that's
all
why I say
relationships.
pobrecita Hailey, because she chooses.
Yeah, but not all relationships are easy, smooth sailing all the time.
No, they're not.
Mine included was.
Yeah, it's not always going to be a walk in the park, but it's like, how are you going to be married to someone who's acting like they're your number one op?
Well, that's why I wonder if it's all a troll.
Do you know what I mean?
Because
like,
he is a troll. They both are, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll know in like 10 years or less when she writes the book, depending if she can write it.
Otherwise, they'll just be in love forever.
Or there's going to be the gag order and the NDA, and God only knows what was already signed. And
yes.
But
yes. They just live a weird life.
They do.
Their lifestyle is strange.
Yeah. It is.
But when you have all the money and everything.
And he's just doing drugs.
I know. I think so too. He denies that.
No, he totally is.
He's on Coachella, which I get. Like, everybody's there partying, but he's got the spotlight on him.
Yeah, even I sent you the TikToks, right, where he's like all strung out.
But I saw them.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I watched Coachella.
I'm like, no, even before Coachella. Oh, and I'm just like, you can't see those videos and tell me he's not on anything.
Yeah.
Which, why is he spiraling? Because of the stuff coming out about Diddy?
Well, that's what kind of keeps coming up. Yeah, and I do think that plays a huge role in it. He's having to like relive, although they put out a statement saying he was never abused by Diddy, and to say that, not that these things didn't happen to other people, but he said it didn't happen to him. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. I think it totally did happen to him. I think
either Diddy happened to him or Usher happened to him.
Or both.
Or both. Because I'm pretty sure it started with Diddy. Like Diddy.
Well, Diddy wanted him. And Justin's parents said, nah. And then Usher came in and then was like, oh, we're going to go hang out with Diddy.
Maybe Diddy told Usher, like, let me watch, since that's his thing.
I don't know. That poor little boy. Yeah, it's so bad. And, like, so in Kim Porter's book, it states that Diddy abused both Justin and Little Bow Wow. Mm-hmm. Granted, they are trying to, like, say that book doesn't hold any weight because she's been unalived and it was written by somebody else, yada yada. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of speculation about everything. It's all just allegations.
Well, yeah, but also,
I mean, the math is mathing.
It is. Yeah. It 100% is. Yeah. I really think Diddy had something to do with Kim Porter's death.
Oh, 100%.
I really do.
The more I went down the rabbit hole, the more I think he had a lot to do with a lot of people's deaths, including, like, Brittany Murphy,
Tupac,
Biggie.
Did you see that? What would you call it? I don't know if it's like a rumor that him and Tupac were lovers.
No.
Mm-mm. I went down that rabbit hole and I was like, okay. Yeah, and that Diddy and Tupac were lovers, and essentially
everybody's fucking everybody in the
well, they are. They are, and we know they are. And that they got really close, and then Diddy got, like, crazy jealous of Tupac's success.
I saw that's why Biggie got killed, was because Biggie was planning to sign with Tupac.
Right.
He was going to leave Diddy to sign with Tupac because they were going to blow the fuck up together. Mm-hmm. And then Diddy was like, And he told him, I know what you're doing, like, so I can't have your back anymore.
And again, the math is mathing.
I think that is also in Kim Porter's book.
Yeah, see, Diddy's the common denominator here.
And then, so in the trial currently, Dawn from Danity Kane, she testified, and she even
I can't believe Aubrey didn't testify.
I think she also does things like just for clickbait. Mm-hmm. Like, she totally fishes for attention, kind of.
Yeah, no, she does.
Because she's like, I'm in New York. And then people were like, oh, are you testifying? And she's like, I posted that to show people that I wasn't testifying. Why would I show where I was if I was testifying? That's not safe. Yeah. And I'm like, you're totally working the media.
No, she is. I mean, she used to do it with Kim, and she's talked about it. So,
yeah, no, I think
she knows how.
Yeah, I think she doesn't have concrete evidence, and that's why she's not testifying.
Yeah,
because she's even said in interviews that she says, I never willingly did anything with Diddy. She said, I don't know if it's happened. Basically, that she's blacked out, been drugged and stuff, so she doesn't really know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy moly. But
well, and let's not forget, like, the whole reason that Diddy's on trial is for officially racketeering. Mm-hmm. What's the other one?
Sex trafficking, racketeering, RICO.
All the things.
Lots of things.
Right. Sex trafficking, racketeering. Transportation to engage in prostitution.
Which happened. Mm-hmm. They already have that on him. Like, there's a lot that's already been proven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. So Diddy's officially pled not guilty to all counts. I don't know. Right now, the trial's been on for about 8 days. Mm-hmm. And so far, I really don't know. You know, I don't think it's a slam dunk case. Like, it sounds like it is, and like common sense, you're like, come on, like, you know, he did, but
well, no, they said that
it's for the jury to decide
because of where in New York that it was filed, that the FBI rate is like, their win rate is astronomical. They only bring things to the court if they know for sure they're gonna win a case.
Well, isn't it the Southern District of New York? Isn't that where it's at?
I think that's what it is. Yeah. And I think I just think Diddy thinks that he's got money enough to keep, and I think he still thinks he can instill fear in people
Well,
for
yeah.
them to not testify against him. But a lot of these people are getting immunity deals now, and so they're coming forth. And I was telling Cassie, like, I don't think he's happy with his counsel. I don't think they're doing a very good job. And they keep trying to get like witnesses thrown out, and
like they're doing
not,
everything they can.
They're not cross-examining, and lots of like, it's not looking good for him.
No, it's not. I don't think it's necessarily a slam dunk in the way that
I think they are trying to paint these witnesses like which they were involved. I'm not saying that their hands are clean by any means, but there is the coercion that gets played into it, and all the manipulation and the power and all of it. So it's like, yes, these people aren't innocent in it, but there was a reason that it was happening.
Yeah.
And it was him. It all comes back to him. And I just saw today, I didn't realize when they raided his house that he had like a bunch of AR-15s with the serial numbers shaved off. And
no, Diddy's been about that life.
Yeah, which I mean,
you know what?
We know, but
you know when it all first started happening, I was like, I'm in shock that he left his kids to get arrested.
Well, my thing is he had his kids at trial.
Yeah.
While Cassie's testifying, he had, I think you said six out of the 7 were there.
No, I think all 7 of them went.
Yeah,
all of Diddy's kids showed up to support him in court.
And they all sat there while they talked about these freak-offs.
Except for certain instances.
No, the girls left but they heard a lot.
Yeah.
They only left after they started talking about they started talking about like the prostitution and rubbing the gum and stuff. Like once it got like there, but they still, I'm pretty sure they were there when they released the photos of Cassie during the freak-offs. They were there when Cassie was saying all the things that he put her through. And I'm sure they've seen them. I'm sure they saw him hitting her and stuff. Like, he was doing it all the time.
It's sick.
It's insane.
He's evil.
And how you can just, like, I freak out because my TikTok is full of, like, every now and then Quincy or the twins will come up on my feed, and they're just like doing normal TikToks. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's so
well,
weird.
The twins just went. So his twin girls just went to prom a few days ago. Yeah. They literally just went. They looked beautiful. They had on matching red dresses. They like literally posted pictures with their respective booze. Like it's in front of the Rolls Royce, the whole like, bit.
And to think that like everything that he probably put their mother through, and they're still fucking riding for this man. It's so weird to me. It's so weird.
Well, they're victims. They're also victims of abuse.
That's true. They've grown up that way, brainwashed.
Yeah. But I really hope and pray like one day that they, you know, realize and see that, especially regarding their mom.
Hopefully, like when they're parents, it'll click and they'll be like, this is weird.
Yeah, because imagine like you think
there's all they know.
Yeah. It is. But I say Diddy's evil. Give him 100 fucking years at least.
That man is wild.
And for Christian Combs, his second eldest son, I think he's like, I don't even know how old he is, but he also goes by King. So King Combs. He was doing stuff with Diddy too. So I say give him 20 years. He's probably done something where he needs 20 years in jail. For sure.
Well, it's crazy because all like his assistants, his bodyguards, his like everybody was involved, and they were all
it's a whole
helping
ecosystem.
Him
yes,
do
it's a
everything.
It's a whole ecosystem. I think we all saw that with R. Kelly, where everyone in his entourage assisted in one way or another, and it makes sense. It's sad and it's disgusting, but it makes sense.
The things that people will do for money.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, everyone had to be complicit. like you get with the program or you get lost, because
This is what's going on.
you know what's
yeah.
going on. That is their life. It's the same thing like with Britney Spears.
Oh, that's a really sad story too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was David James, his former assistant, had said that one of the times, I think it might have even been the first time he met Cassie, that they were outside and she was like, this is a crazy lifestyle. And he was like, well, why don't you leave? And she was like, I can't. He controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that, like, he withheld all her music and everything. And he was having her go and record all the time just to keep her busy. She called it busy work. Yeah. Just to make, like, keep tabs on her to make sure she was doing what he wanted. Like, she wasn't with anybody else, and she wasn't, I think also it was to help so that she wasn't, like, all drugged out all the time, because she did get strung out.
Yeah.
Which, rightfully so, you're going through all this crazy ass shit.
Like literal,
and you just want to numb yourself for the 4 days. It was funny because I saw, well, it's not funny, but this one lady said, like, 96 hours? She was like, how do you stay horny for 96 hours? Like, what the fuck?
And the fact that she would get, like, sores in her mouth.
That really.
From the freak offs.
From somebody just.
I mean, even just the fact that Diddy had someone, I forget his name, I have it in my notes, but his task was to clean up the rooms, the hotel rooms after.
No, and she said that they would pay thousands of dollars all the time because there would be, like, baby oil stains for one, which we all know about the baby oil. And then, I mean, he would force her to have these freak offs even when she was on her period. And so it was messy. The urination, like, it's just insane. The damage that would be caused to these rooms based off of these freak offs. And they, like, don't really go into detail of, like, I mean, the only thing that they really detail is the baby oil. Like, they're like, oh, we always had to be lathered up, yada, yada.
Well, and I think, like.
But the fact that one of the prostitutes that they used was called the Punisher, I was like, why do they keep calling him that?
I don't know. I think obviously that's the thing that's very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, that's one of the more sensational parts of the trial, because they've talked about all of the sex toys they've used and the baby lube and the Astroglide and all of these things. But really, it's kind of distracting from the fact of Diddy's the one on trial. And did he do it or not, you know? Because it's more than just what was he doing in the freak offs. It's the racketeering.
Well, yeah, no, he was paying to have these prostitutes cross state lines, which there you are. That's illegal. That's what you're on trial for.
Yeah.
And he was paying them, and it was happening all the time. Weekly.
But I'm just really glad that Cassie got up there, that she was able to do that for herself. She's very heavily pregnant. I think she's supposed to give birth like any day now.
Yeah, they were worried that she would go into labor.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think a lot of people, it was really disgusting to me to see online how many people were saying, like, oh, was she consented?
Yeah.
And she, you know, Cassie was not and is not the one on trial. It's Diddy.
Was she in love with a man at a very young age that had lots of money, lots of power, could give her the world? Yes. And when you're in that situation, like, you're willing to do anything. And I don't think
I don't know if you're not following it, like, super closely, they were together for 11 years. And when they first met in 2006, she was like 19 and he was 37, damn near 40. And he was already established as a rap mogul, as an icon. He was already Diddy. And then he goes on to sign her for 10
albums.
10 albums.
Yeah, so she's like, holy shit, like, this man's making all my dreams come true. They're trying to say that she's a gold digger or whatever because she was with
Ryan Leslie
before, who gave her first album that got her out there. But I mean, that's just coincidence. Like, I mean, she dated somebody that put her on, and somebody else approached her. And I mean, that's like anything. If somebody, even if you're with somebody now and somebody hits you up on the gram, like, it's no different.
The whole part about, okay, so she goes from Ryan Leslie, who discovers her, to Diddy, who's obviously Diddy, and then goes on this whole thing with her. But I had even seen things online where people were saying, oh, she's just, using men to, like, enrich herself.
Right.
And she's
an opportunist.
Right, she's an opportunist.
And I don't...
Well, you know what? Diddy hired her
and whether
husband.
whether she was an opportunist or not, that doesn't mean that she was like, oh, let me do this and let me have freak offs and prostitution and drugs, and like that wasn't, I don't think, what she was signing up for.
No, I think she was young and she was naive and she was starting her life. She was doing modeling in New York as a 19-year-old.
Big shiny things came around and she was excited.
Yeah. And it was Diddy.
Well, and that's what, like, when it comes to domestic violence and abuse and stuff, like, they're obviously charming in the beginning. And so, yes, she fell in love with him. Like, she thought he was fucking cool.
Well, and I think
she was nice to her. She had fun with him.
Yeah.
It was normal. Like,
but also, she could have stayed with Diddy, right? Like, her husband now was hired by Diddy.
Right.
As her trainer, as her personal trainer. So I think if it was what people allege, she could have just stayed with Diddy. She could have been like, you know what? Yeah. I've already been doing this for 10 years. I know what the game is. I already know how it's played. She could have stayed there.
Well, and she tried leaving him a few times.
Yeah, but I think if she really...
That's why, like, then I can't wait for Kid Cudi's testimony.
Isn't it tomorrow?
I think so. I can't wait.
You know what else gets me too about Diddy is that level of control to where, he's over here just being a classic gaslighter, like abuser, the whole bit.
That's what I mean.
Because poor thing, how she thought in the beginning, oh, like they were exclusive. And then it turns out they're not exclusive. And then she had to adjust and accept that, he has sex with all these people and he has all these women around him and all these men around him and he literally does whatever he wants.
Like, that's why she kept trying to, like, do him, because she was like, this is the only way he's, like, keeps me around.
Yeah, but then to me it's crazy, like, okay, so there's the understanding once they've officially been together a few years of, like, this is the way the freak-offs go. This is what the lifestyle entails. And so then Cassie wants to go off and date, like, the NFL players and Kid Cudi or other people. And then Diddy would freak out.
Yeah.
Why?
She did a movie with, like, Michael B. Jordan, and Diddy was like, and then,
yeah.
He lost his shit, like, several times. And then Kid Cudi, and he really did blow up that car.
Yeah, he blew up Kid Cudi's car.
That's why I can't wait for the testimony, because I'm like, holy shit, this is about to get real spicy, because this shit really happened. And he said, he was like, I'm going to do it, and it's not going to be at my hand, and I'll be out of the country. And, like, that's why he's a dangerous man. And I don't think they can prove a lot of the deaths that he has been involved in, but I do think he's been involved in a lot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he gets.
And that's the other thing, is she tried to leave, and then he was like telling her mom, like, you owe me $20,000
for loss of what?
Yeah.
For
just for having to take care of her. And so they, like, sent him $20,000, and then he ended up sending it back.
But they had to take out a loan. They took out a loan on their house to get Diddy, of all people.
I know.
I mean, I like to think, that you would say, go fuck yourself.
I mean, that's commendable as a parent, that they were like, we'll do whatever as long as she fucking gets away from you. Like,
yeah. But at the same time, like,
it's all a power play for him.
No, it is. But it's so sick, because those poor people have to do that. That's what even,
like, the freak offs. I saw another interview of, like, a guy who's he's a sex worker, and he said that he would, like, be on call sometimes. Like, he was in the lineup to go with them, but it never actually fell through. They always would go with someone else. But there it goes again.
What is it?
It doesn't, there's nothing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it makes that noise. But he said that so it
never worked out with this prostitute?
No, but all the sex workers that were employed by wherever it was, that they all talked, so that they all knew what was going on with the substances and the abuse and all of that. And so it's just,
oh my gosh, did you see that thing about the Obama ecstasy pills?
Yes.
Guys, Diddy,
leave Obama out of this.
For whatever reason, I mean, that man takes ecstasy, and what else does he like to take? Cocaine,
opiates,
MDMA, a lot of shit,
everything.
But for whatever reason, Diddy was like, you know what? Let me get these ecstasy pills made in the shape of Obama's face.
I want those Obamas.
Like, all right then.
Yeah. And then her friend, that was another one that was like, it was kind of sad.
Oh, the friend that she was like best friends with for 17 years?
Carrie Morgan.
Yeah.
They were friends since they were young. They were like, became friends on like a model casting or something. And they lived together and everything because Diddy would not let Cassie live with him. They always lived like 5 minutes apart or like within walking distance, but he wouldn't like let her live with him. And that was like a thing that would bother her because she was like, this man is like keeping me at an arm's length, but then he wants me to do all, like at his beck and call.
Again, a control thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's all control. And who knows how many other women he had like at the same time.
Well, so at the very beginning when they first got together, he was still with Kim Porter. Mm-hmm. And so to him, it was like, Kim's the queen and the mother of my kids. So she had her certain place. And then Cassie had barely come into his life. So it was like, well, no, you're just a side piece for now. Like, you haven't exactly leveled up. That was my understanding of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I saw, which kind of makes sense, but who knows? But who is the girl that he was dating most recently? I forget her name. I wish I would have wrote it down. But he was like on the red carpet with her and he was like showing her off and he didn't sign her. She wasn't under his label and he was still going like to her shows and hyping her up. And like, so I saw someone famous went on and said, I know a lot of people think that Diddy probably hates Cassie most in this world, but honestly, he needs to hate that girl because she's the one who prompted Cassie to like, right. Which could be true. Who knows? Like even though she's created her own family and is moving on and all the things, but then when you like, you still see that shit and you're like, this motherfucker. Like, I gave him everything. I did everything. And
she literally gave him the best years of her life.
I mean, everything.
Okay, not necessarily, but do you know what I mean? Like, to go from 19 to, like, essentially all of your 20s, you know. Yeah. And I'm prime. Prime. You guys know what we mean, like, what we're saying. And then you leave, and it's like, okay, damaged goods.
Well, and it's like everything. Well, and it's also like everything like she would beg him for. Like, she wanted to get married. Which is crazy to think that like you still want to marry somebody who beats the fuck out of you on the regular. But she loved him, and that's like, love is blind. It really is. I've been in relationships that were ugly, and not to that extent, but it's like you can only fault somebody, and I know people are like, that's not an excuse, like, but it is. It's weird the type of control that someone can have on you when you love them that way. And
well, yeah, that's like part of the cycle of abuse, and it is, and I applaud anyone that's able to escape that because it's incredibly difficult, and a lot of people don't.
No, yeah,
they're not able to.
Yeah, no, I have somebody very close to me that was physically abused, and they kept going back, and I kept like, it would break my heart all the time, and like all the worry that comes with knowing somebody that's in that. Yeah. And like if you can't get a hold of them, you start wondering, like your mind just goes to the darkest places, and it's so awful.
Well, and because statistically it's been proven. Like,
It
it's a
takes,
very
like,
high percentage.
It takes, I don't know how many times for them to leave, to like actually leave.
Yeah, but where I was going is statistically the number of women that are murdered, it's high by their partners.
Well, that's...
when they try to leave. It's very high. It's scary.
No, it's very scary. Very, 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 very.
Were you talking about Dana Tran?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Because Mr. Combs had his 7th child, Love, with Dana Tran in 2022. Or was it Young Miami?
Maybe. No, yeah, it was Young Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, they were saying that she's like she's probably the one that prompted Cassie to be so vindicated.
Yeah, probably.
Which, oh wow. But who knows what she endured either. But I know, so they're trying to say like, okay, yes, he had Cassie on drugs, but he was also on drugs. So like, they're trying to persuade the jury to give him grace. Like,
but you know what I'm trying to remember? Sorry. Isn't it like 8 men and 4 women? Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, also that, you guys.
But they do say that, like, when they are showing, like, footage from the freak-offs and stuff, that a lot of people are, like, covering, like, saying it's hard to see and hard to hear about. And so, I mean, I feel like being part of a jury is really hard. Have you ever had to do jury duty?
No. I've been called for it, but, like, I've never been chosen to be on a jury.
See, I've never even been called, but Sev did, I think it was a couple years ago. And he was saying, like, that the case was really hard because it was, like, a sexual abuse case for a minor and stuff. And so, like, to watch and hear everything was difficult. And he said what made it even more difficult was that you had to look at everything as a legal standpoint. Like, you have to go by the book, and you have to be like, okay, so yes, we have this opinion of him, but legally, does it fall into place?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going with the sensational aspects, and I get it.
But he's definitely, like, the coercion is already, yes. Well, trafficking, yes. Like, there's no, based off of legal, from a legal standpoint, he is guilty. Like,
yeah. But what are they really gonna, you know, what is the jury really going to go with, you know, because he stands to get life in prison. Mm-hmm. So it's like, but really, it's like what is he going to get?
50 years to life or something.
Yeah.
My dad had said right before the trial started that he was already trying to get like a plea. And so who knows what he's going to end up doing.
Well, I thought that they offered him a plea and he didn't take it. And then that's why he went into it as 10 toes down.
Yeah, well,
not
they
guilty.
Did that, and then I think at the last second he started getting like, oh shit.
Because is Diddy 60 yet?
I don't know, but
he is
up
close.
There. Yeah, he is up there.
Let's see. Diddy is 55.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So he's not quite there yet.
Not quite.
Still. And it's so funny how, like, they try to play the jury and stuff. Like, now he dresses all...
Oh, yeah.
Regular.
Now he reads the Bible in court. Absolutely.
Yeah. He dresses all regular. He lets his grays out. Like,
he's got gray in his beard.
Everywhere.
And now he's got a full beard. Why? Because he wants to look distinguished.
He just wants to look like an average Joe.
But really, if you think about it, you know that he knew this was coming a few years back when Diddy did his whole rebranding. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, I'm all about love and spreading love. And do you remember that?
No, I know, because so I had started seeing that, and I started following him on the gram, and then I was like, oh, but then I think he started getting kind of annoying, so I unfollowed him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was like, oh, Love. He named his daughter Love. It was all a thing. Like,
Yeah, and so he had his daughter Love in 2022, and so I really feel like somewhere in the
that makes
pandemic,
sense.
someone
makes
tipped
sense.
him off. Yeah, like, see, pay attention. This is him trying to get in front of it, trying to subtly control the narrative, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a family man. Oh, he's propping up his son
Which
to
he
do
even-
music. And
He even did, like, he's even reached out to Cassie and was like, they said that he was like, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you found your person that treats you right. And I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah, see, so there he went trying to make amends. Even
so I
with,
wonder, maybe he did have.
with Mace, right? He gave him back his catalog or something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was around the same time. So there was that beef where Mace left and he became religious and he became a pastor. But Diddy reached out to him to make amends. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't necessarily Mace's catalog, but it had something to do with his music rights.
Well, no, he probably owned it.
Like he paid him back or gave him back pay something.
That's also a thing, is they say that he doesn't pay his artists. So kind of like, it's like you don't even want to get under Bad Boy because
he's a user and abuser.
Yeah. And so that's what they were even telling, like they were trying to say that Cassie already had money, yada yada, and she was like, who said that I made that much money? Like, that's your own perception.
Yeah.
That's not what really happened.
Well, and get real. Like, if you're just in the studio, you can be in the studio all day long till you're blue in the face. But if you're not putting anything out,
you're getting debt.
You're not. Yeah.
Well, but
You're
they're
not
trying to
getting
say,
paid.
just based off of her one single that went huge, that she had money, but she was like, no, that's not. And it really, the music industry, especially back then, because, well, and probably even now, it's probably worse now, actually, because then I guess you had physical hard copies that were being bought that accrued money, and now it's all just streaming, and it's hard to track
And streaming sucks.
It's hard to track it. So, yeah, the music world, really, if you're making money, it's off touring. That's where you make money.
And that's why...
And Diddy wasn't allowing her to do nothing.
Literally nothing. Yeah. But that's even like Justin. We could have touched on that. Justin and Hailey, and like all of Justin's like financial issues too with Scooter Braun.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that? About the audit? I mean, Justin goes on tour, and then halfway through the tour, his very last tour, he decides that he doesn't want to do it, or he can't do it. He's not able to. Well, they had given him an advance of $40 million. So he still owed them $24 million on top of whatever he owes Scooter Braun, who's also an evil piece of shit. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, no, it's just that the whole scene, I think, was saturated with all these men who learned how to con people to get their way, and it just continues because that's just that's what it is.
Yeah, it's very predatory. The music industry is very predatory. There's a lot of other systems like that. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where you have to learn how to play the game. Because if you don't...
Yeah, but when you're 16...
No, yeah, for sure. Like, of course, like,
or
you
19,
don't know.
like Cassie,
Yeah.
You're just a dreamer.
But for someone like Diddy, who, was essentially like one of the first people that was out there really doing his own thing as far as establishing record labels. And then he got hip to it real quick. And then him being him, he was like, oh, and he figured it out as far as... I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And so now...
It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. Because of how evil he is.
Well, and when you have so much power and money and everything at your disposal, that's why, like, one of the... That's what I was getting to, was the sex worker that didn't end up actually having a freak off with them.
Oh, yeah.
He said that... He was like, is somebody watching normal? Yes. He was like, is everything that came with the freak-offs normal? No. And he was like, and I think it's just when you're in a position of power for so long, you want to just control everything all the time, and you're looking for new ways to kind of fill that.
Yeah.
And so they're saying that's why he would be like weird about in the freak offs, because he just wanted full control and being able to have the power over these people and telling them what to do and how to do it. And
yeah, to me they were like his little dolls,
puppets,
like his puppets, like they were playthings to him, but they're actual human beings. So real damage happened.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's like you say, like, what do you do? And we talked about it when we talked about Gaga last episode, and it's like, what does that feel like? Like, what do you do after you're at that
high?
Yeah. And then people start doing weird shit, and no one's gonna tell you no.
No, and I do think like all the drugs do play a factor.
Well, yeah.
And so I can't say I give him grace because he was doing drugs, but I get, yes, like you probably wouldn't have done those things if you were in your right mind.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, and I don't think he ever really was in his right mind, because for him to inflict that amount of pain on people, I mean, he's also in the cycle. Like, yes, he's obviously the abuser, but at some point Diddy had to have been abused. Something happened to Diddy. It's just like with R. Kelly.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you don't just necessarily come out like that. Something happened to Diddy.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he might have been molested by his mom. His dad was a pimp, or regardless, he was, even if he himself wasn't molested, but he had to have been.
Because they said that his mom watched. Cassie said that his mom watched before.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, see? It's like...
It's all very weird.
But I think it could have been from his dad. Either way,
I think he got exposed, like, with his dad.
He was exposed to something.
Because his dad was a pimp.
Right. And God only knows what he saw.
Yeah.
So...
But that doesn't negate you becoming a monster.
No, I'm not trying to justify his actions at all, and I don't condone what he did whatsoever in any fashion. But it's just so sick to think that someone close to him, it started probably with his parents. Yeah, and that's sad.
Again, nature versus nurture.
Yeah, and that's sad. Ugh, I don't know.
We're gonna have that conversation. But I don't want to have it until we come back from our break.
From our brief little hiatus. But we'll leave that there for now, you guys. So that pretty much covers, days 1 through 8 of the trial. We'll probably touch on it again. Yeah.
We're going to be filming again in a few days. So hopefully there'll be...
So we'll recap Kid Cudi. And
I can't wait. I really
we'll probably do a little bit more digging and see what it's looking like.
Okay.
For Diddy. Although it's definitely not looking good. And I think if that man gets off at all,
I'll be very surprised.
I will also be curious to see what happens after the trial. Because I wouldn't be shocked if somehow the judge is poisoned, or the judge ends up dead, or jurors
gets
go
pneumonia.
Jurors go missing, or
they said there's already a few witnesses missing.
Yeah, witness intimidation has already happened. Yeah, even that. Really quickly, because I meant to tell you to talk about it, but that guy, what's his first name? His last name is like Audie.
John.
Is it? No, I don't think it's John.
I thought it was John.
John Audie?
I think so. He's the one who shot up the Trump Tower or whatever.
Yes.
And they were like, this guy's losing it, yada, yada.
Tell him, Chelsea.
He said that he was one of the prostitutes that would have freak-offs with Cassie and Diddy. And
there's the YouTube video.
He says he has footage of the freak-offs because Cassie would be so inebriated that she would pass out, and he was afraid that it was going to get pinned on him. Like if she died, he didn't want it to fall back on him, so he brought a camera in And that's why in her testimony, they say that they confronted one of the people that were involved with the freak-offs because it was getting... There was a rumor that there was a sex tape of them being passed, like that there was one out that was going to get out. And so she confronted someone trying to figure out, like, who has it, yada, yada. And his counsel was trying to use it as, look, he did everything to protect her from all this coming out, yada, yada. But then it was also to, like, villainize her because she was telling the guy, like, I'll fucking kill you, like, get me this. They have, like... voice footage of her, and
when she told him, like, I'll kill you and I'll put you under the dirt myself or something like that.
Just because she wanted the video or whatever, she didn't want it leaked, and they think that that's the video that could have gotten leaked. But he's been in prison for like 7 years, and it's just his...
But it still makes you wonder.
His case just keeps getting like flopped around. They don't bring it, but they think... So that's why people are thinking that his trial hasn't gone to trial because the FBI has been holding it for this.
Yeah, but it also makes you wonder because initially people wrote him off. They're like, oh, he's a nut job. And, you know, if you watch that YouTube video, he's talking about all these things and he sounds crazy. But a few of those things have actually come true. So then now people are like, wait a minute.
Like I said, like,
he wasn't just a nut job spouting off crazy conspiracy
all of it
theories.
Sounds conspiracy, but then now as everything's being revealed, like more and more, it's like, no, this is real life and all this shit really was happening. And it just sounds crazy because it is fucking crazy.
So they just have him locked up in there. Just...
waiting.
God only knows why.
Which our prison system is another issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, so that's really it for real.
Yeah.
For now.
We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.
Do you want to end it there?
Sure.
Okay, let's sign off.
Okay. Well, we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.